Alrighty then. Hello, it's Fox and
Wols.
and Wols. We are introducing the last part of part 4.
Yes, finally,
of
Ian Rice.
Of the Ian Rice saga. Is that a saga? No, it's not a saga. It's been an epic.
It certainly has been.
We could make a part 5, but we wouldn't do it to Pete.
No.
Really.
No, poor Pete.
We're not going to do that to you, Pete.
No, we're not going to do that to you, Pete.
It's another long one, so I think it goes for about half an hourish. Anyway, whatever. So I hope you've enjoyed the parts, and
yes,
this one's it's a nice ending one.
Yes, I
put
think
it that
so.
way. So without any further ado, enjoy.
LA, great event. That was in August, and then in November, of course, we had the Australian Slotted Nationals.
Yes, which we were at.
Yes.
Yeah,
We went there.
yeah, and again, very well organised event. In some respects, it was a bigger event because we ran 2 classes, but in some respects, it was smaller because there were fewer entrants. I think there were about 40 entrants across the weekend. And not everybody ran in both classes. Some people only chose to run in one, which is understandable. It's quite a workload running 2 classes.
Yes.
It's a workload for the organisers. It's also a workload for the drivers as well, because you've got to be on it in 2 separate competition streams. So it's a big deal. But the event went incredibly smoothly. Very well organised by the guys, Eddie and Maria, as we've talked about before. And everybody had a great time. The track that we ran on is a very fast track, so the cars were actually geared up to go quick. There's not many corners on that track, unfortunately, but it is a quick track.
No,
so
you can whip around that.
Yeah, and what that does is that raises the intensity level. So your concentration levels have to be higher. There's no respite. Because you don't, you're into the next corner before you realise it, and
you're hammering.
Yeah, you are
pretty well.
Yeah, and you're racing with guys who race on that track anyway with their club racing, so they know the track. So you can't take a breather, because if you do, you're going to get overtaken. So very intense racing. Because of the speeds involved. If it was a slower track, it might be a little bit more laid back. But
it's just a personal thing. When you're racing, we never. I don't know if we'll ever do it. Maybe we might. Anyway, what's the most important criteria is to not de-slot?
Oh, okay. That is a broad question.
Well,
that is a big question. So. Let's answer your question directly. Yes, not deslotting is incredibly
important. That's taking
important.
time, isn't it? That's.
So if we look at that track that I mentioned, the one at Slot Shop where we ran the Nationals, the lap time for a car such as this, which is another Nissan, a lap time for a car such as this would be 4.7 seconds. If you deslot, you can incur a delay of anywhere between 2 seconds and 5 seconds.
Depending how good your marshal is.
Well, it depends on the nature of the accident. Is there more than one car involved?
Yeah.
In which case the poor marshal on that corner has to then reslot 3 or 4 cars or whatever. If it's one car, it might be quick. It might be the 2-second end of the spectrum. If there's 3 or 4 cars, you might get hit with a 5-second delay. A 5-second delay is over a lap.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a lap down straight away.
Exactly. So if you're running at 99% of your ultimate pace and you deslot 3 times during a heat, you might lose 3 laps. If you run at 97 or 95% of your ultimate pace, you might not deslot at all, and therefore you won't lose those 3 laps. You'll only do 97% of the distance that you would have done otherwise, but that's actually a net gain. So to answer your question, don't deslot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that even if you just like what are we layman's
Amateurs.
Not even that, but
We're all amateurs. We're all amateurs.
but I just like even on my track here, deslotting, it's you got to put the bloody thing on for a start.
Time consuming, yes.
And not that it's it is competition with us, but it just you get into a zone.
Yeah.
Where your mojo's just run it and you go around and you get close racing too, and that and the more you keep them on, the more I think it's more spectator obvious to watch.
And it's more fun too.
Well,
it gets them involved as well because you're banging into each other and stuff and keeping it on and.
Well, the deslotting question, let me put it another way. How do you win a heat or how do you win a race? You don't win a race by setting lap record times. Lap record times are for your ego. Yeah. Oh look, I did a 4.5, I did a 4.6. They're for your ego. The way that you win races and the way that you win heats is accumulating laps. That's all that matters. The computer only logs, is only interested in how many laps you've done. So anything you can do to maximise your lap score, not deslotting is one of them. It's a very significant, possibly the most significant one.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And I am not the world's best at that. This is something I've been working on, for a long time now. Ian, hold back a little bit more. Run at 97%. Don't run at 99%.
Give me that little squirt. Oh, I could just squirt it. Oh no, come off.
Because if you want to walk away from the track and say, oh, I did a 4.3 or I did a 4.4, but you only did 17 laps, Ian, and the guy who won the heat, he did 22 laps. So you're
but never came off.
Yeah. But you're 5 laps behind him, aren't you? Look. So, it's taken me a long time to learn that one, and I still haven't learned it fully. It's just a competitive nature in me. That's all it is.
I'm sure you get involved, like when you have you're focused, and that's what I'm going to do. But when in the heat of the moment, that goes out the window because you're close to somebody, or you go, oh. I'll just squeeze. He's too close. I don't want to get away from him or something.
Yes, right.
I can imagine. I must. Yeah.
Heat of the moment is a good description. It really is. You get caught in that moment. Nothing else comes into your awareness, and you get caught in the moment. And
with the blinkers on and just hyper focusing on what you're doing. And nothing else.
So yes, the Slot Shop Nationals, really good event. The two classes, Group C. So this was the car that I ran in the Group C event. I've not got any rear tyres on at the moment, but this was again a Nissan that I ran in the Group C event. Slightly different rules to the US rules. In the US we ran rubber tyres. In the Slotted Nationals in Australia, in Sydney, we ran sponge tyres. And there were various other differences as well. So, for instance, no ballast, was when you could run ballast. Quite a few little differences that make the cars very different. Actually,
was it the same in Electric Dreams with the? I noticed screw, keep your screws in, sticky tape them. There was
there's nothing in the Electric Dreams rule set for that. No,
that was in the slotted at.
That's what I'm saying.
Shop,
they didn't have it overseas.
Yeah.
So it was almost Eddie was. If you lose your screws, you're disqualified, basically.
And Eddie was very forthright about that, and I think quite rightly, because if a screw falls out and it falls into the slot.
Exactly.
If it falls in your slot,
you've got to bloody find it first.
Yeah, well, normally what happens is you don't notice until somebody runs into it, and that can wreck a car.
Yes.
And their race is over. If it falls in your slot, that's your problem. But if it falls in somebody else's slot, it wrecks their race.
Absolutely.
So Eddie, quite rightly, I think, he said he wanted tape put over the body. The underside of the chassis, I beg your pardon, to stop any screws from falling out. So, I mean, I personally,
I totally agree with that.
I think
you need to have them loose for your float.
It doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't cost anything.
No.
It doesn't affect the performance.
No, it doesn't at all.
And it stops people's races getting wrecked. So,
Yes.
we were all for it. Nobody was complaining about it. So, but curiously, it wasn't a rule at Electric Dreams. However, what I do with my cars is on all screws that go on the underside of the car, like the body screws and the pod screws, I actually put a tiny bit of I actually use blue tack.
Oh, blue tack.
Yeah, just put some blue tack in the threads and then put it in.
Oh, right.
And the blue tack holds it in there.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
For the same reasons.
Yes.
So, yeah. So with the Group C, I think it was third. I got with the Group C. I was okay with that. I was fairly happy with that. 40 people. I got third. I should be doing okay because of the I raced there. So
yeah.
And with the LMP class, I didn't do so well. I had a bit of an incident in the race which caused me to pull out, unfortunately. So I couldn't actually replicate any of my performance with the LMPs. It was going well, but I couldn't continue after that particular incident. So I withdrew.
Which we
yeah.
For that one.
So
it people talking and stuff. It makes it hard to hear.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But I got the concourse win, so I was happy with getting that.
That's
so
good.
Yeah.
I actually found it quite pleasant to when we went to the slotted at Slot Shop, meeting Nick. I mean, 14-year-old. A 14-year-old.
Yeah.
What a talent he is.
What a talent he is.
And what a gentleman of a youngster.
Yes.
Yeah.
The epitome of somebody that's should be more of him.
Well, Nick is an awesome character, as you say. He's a young lad racing with a bunch of older guys, older guys with a lot more experience of racing, with a lot more experience of life, of how to deal with all sorts of stuff. You've got a short video on YouTube, I think you guys on your channel where you interviewed him at the Nationals.
Yes,
absolutely.
And he was in the process of fixing his car.
He was.
And I don't know if you noticed or if it was obvious at the time, he wasn't getting any help. He was doing it himself.
Yes.
This is a 14-year-old who is at a national level event trying to fix his car and succeeding.
He knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah. So what has he done? He's identified a problem. He's analysed what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked out a fix, and he's put that fix in place.
Absolutely.
He's 14.
Yeah.
I wasn't like that when I was 14. But Nick has developed these skills by hanging out with us. We've given him a lot of help over the years to help him develop.
He's taken that on too.
Yes, he has.
Eddie, and he goes there and he absorbs all this. But I said, what do you do with all that? And then you turn it into your own thing with all this. And he goes, yes, you do that. And then you don't tell anybody.
Well, he doesn't need help anymore.
No,
he's holding his own and very regularly beating us because he's that quick as a driver. He's that quick, but he also knows how to put a car together.
There's a few facts. Absolutely.
I personally think that's a very impressive 14-year-old.
Yes, I think so too.
I said on the thing, keep an eye on him because. He's a future legend in the making because he made it so easy for us to interview because he probably saw a first interview. He was our first interview actually.
Yes, he was.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was the other young fella. Anyway, and then he just talked and said, "I'm doing this," and so we're having a bit of it, just like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And just let him go, and he just told us everything he was doing, and
That's good.
thanks, Nick.
And the camaraderie thing we talk about, a lot of us, the older guys, we've given Nick bits of help here and there. Like when he was setting up his LMP car for the Slotted Nationals, he came to me and he said, "Ian, why do you run suspension in the back? Why do you do that? How does it help the car?" So we had a bit of a conversation about it. And then he went away and he put suspension in his car on his own. He asked me a few setup things, but basically it was him doing it, and it improved his car, and he was as happy as Larry. And it's that investigative thing. It's that, you know, how do I
curiosity that motivates it. And how can I get this? What does it do? How does it work? Blah blah blah. All these.
Why is it so?
Why is it so? Like Professor Julius Sunderland Miller. Yes. Why is this so?
And I think, I can't remember now. I think he got into the finals in the LMP class.
He did.
Yes.
He did. Yeah. That was the car we were looking at.
A 14-year-old in a national level competition, and he got into the finals. Good on him.
Yeah,
really,
that's why I was so impressed with him. You know? I mean,
but he's like BP. He's the quiet achiever.
Yes,
he's not out there, you know,
big noting himself,
sprouting around. He just keeps it to himself, and you know.
Yeah.
You get a wry grin out of him.
And Nick is often the guy at Slot Shop who helps the kids when the kids come in for that session that we mentioned earlier. When the kids
I was going to ask you that. So he's the one that tours them around. Sometimes. Okay,
yeah. Quite often it's Nick that does that. Yeah. So he's sharing his knowledge and experience, and you know, he's.
And they probably would listen because
he's only a teenager himself.
Yes. So it'd be like what do they call it? Yes.
Well, he's got that empathy straight away, hasn't he?
Yes.
You know? Well,
exactly.
It's not like talking to an adult. You know, you're in the gang anyway. You're
Yes, you're one of them.
You're part of the crew.
Yeah.
You got street cred.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I can see, you know, in 2025 there'll be the Slot Nationals again, and it's
at the new venue.
Well,
Hopefully.
I don't know. I'm not close to it, so I don't know what the progress is there. But yes, hopefully there'll be a new venue for Slot Shop, and we'll have the nationals there. That is the plan at the moment, as I understand it.
Well, let's hope this plan comes to prevail.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure it will, because positive.
Yes, of course.
Positive energy.
And I can see Nick podium, you know, getting on the podium.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, at the age of 15, it's quite a possibility.
He could be another future, or the Australian version of an Ian Douglas, because he's passionate. And he wants to learn, and he's absorbing it all, and then put it to his own, you know, working out all these things and then putting it in his own way.
They're quite different personalities, but
they're different personalities.
But I think Nick's got what it takes to be very successful going forward. Very, very much so.
He's eager to, you know, I want to know how. Why is this so again? Why is it lifted up? Why do I? Suspension. Why do I? How much magnetism is in the motor if I'm using like a magnetic braid or whatever? You know, why is this? You know, what can I do to tweak this? Because that's what I got from him just with the 6-minute interview. They can see he's picked all this stuff up, and and he's telling me, like bang.
Now he's going to have his exams coming up soon, so you know, as responsible adults, we need to encourage him to look after those as a priority.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's going to want to go slot car racing.
Of course he is. But
that word balance is going to come into play, isn't it? But you know,
I mean, he's got a following too. He's a couple of mates.
Yes, he's got some mates of his that are following. They're not into slot cars, but
he's gone there. So.
But they all follow intently.
We asked him about. I'd say you got a PlayStation. He goes, "Do you play that much?" He says, "Only if I lose or my car comes off."
Yeah, no.
Then I go home and.
He said if he gets frustrated with his, you know, trying to fix a slot car or something, he just. I
said basically, what if you get the shit? Something like that, anyway.
Yeah.
I know if I said it. But okay, so that's we've got some questions if you'd like to answer them.
Oh, okay. Yep, sure.
Yes.
That I put out there earlier today to a few people on on the WhatsApp.
There's one from.
Because they're sleepy time over there now.
Yes.
Had I realised this earlier, I should have done it earlier. We would have got a lot more questions. But okay, here's one from Paul from
2021.
2021.
Mm-hmm.
He asked the question, which was
Let's see.
yes. Do you wear or do you have lucky underwear for racing?
Lucky underwear for racing. Okay. The short answer is no.
I suppose it's like having a rabbit's foot, having lucky underwear.
Yeah. I don't know many racers that are superstitious actually in those kind of ways actually. No, I do like to wear a race-oriented shirt, and that's about the level of it for me. Yeah. So yeah, sorry to disappoint.
So you don't have any magic medallions or
no, or a lucky dollar coin in your pocket,
or a lucky dollar coin.
Yeah.
Okay, no. And here we have some from Dougie from MagFans.
Yes.
Okay.
So Molly asks, are you heading back to the good old US of A for the Nationals again?
Okay.
You've probably already answered that, but
the answer is yes. It's 100% my intention. I've got a lot going on between now and then.
He's getting married, folks.
So yes, I'll be getting married in May overseas, and the race that Dougie's referring to is in I think it's the last week of July, the last weekend in July or the first weekend in August. The Electric Dreams Slotted Nationals again. Yes, definitely going to that. I see on the Electric Dreams calendar that they've mentioned the Cunningham Raceway, but they've also mentioned the Nyland Raceway, which is the new track that they've put in as a result of refurbing.
Yes.
Now I don't know how they're going to integrate that into the event, because one class you'd think it would be run on one track. However, I'll obviously happily go with whatever they decide, because that new track, the Nyland track, which is actually a refurbished track from another location, it's a great looking track. It's a wonderful looking track. I can't wait to give that have a drive on that one.
I've seen it in action. It is.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of different. Yeah, different.
So yes, Doug. I really look forward to meeting up with yourself and with Ian again on the Electric Dreams event in August. Yes.
Here's another one from from Dougie. What's your favourite McDonald's meal?
Okay. I know why he's asking that one. There is a bit of context with that. So after the race on the Sunday in the 2024 event, we were all absolutely knackered. For a 4-day event,
yeah,
you can imagine, and you're on your feet on those hard concrete floors in an industrial unit where there's a slot car track. So we were all absolutely shattered. And there was a McDonald's opposite the hotel where I was staying, and so I went along with a couple of the other guys that I was racing with, a couple of the American guys from Chicago area, and we were just sat there, with a coffee and whatever meal we had and what have you. And so I was with Ian and Doug at that stage, and as we're sat there, Ian Douglas walks in with his girlfriend, and we just sort of sit there together, and we're just talking about not a lot, because we're all so tired, just want to get to bed. So that's the reason behind Doug's question. So what would be my favourite? Well, I'm going to go completely out there. I used to like Big Macs before they shrunk them.
Mini Macs.
Yeah, but now I would go for from the breakfast menu. I'd go for the hot cakes.
I'm partial to them too.
Yeah,
they've got to be hot though.
Yes,
they don't want to be sitting in there. I've had some cold cakes once.
Well, they go like cardboard, don't they? So if they're fresh off the griddle, they're great. They're great. Yeah.
And his last one, which is what we sort of put in the start of part one, your controller stance style is different from most. Any reason for that, Ian?
Okay, it's actually a complicated answer. So most people stand there with two hands on their controller.
Yes.
And they're like this, and their controller is in front of their chest, and the racing is going on in front of them. And that seems to be what the majority of people like to do. I hold my hand down by my side. My left hand isn't involved at all. My right hand is down by my side with my controller, and I'm racing like that with my hand down by my side. And there is actually a reason for it, and that is that I don't want to be distracted by my controller. I'm trying to visualize in my mind the passage of the car on the track. Does it lose traction there? Can I brake later there? Am I maximizing my corner speed here? Is there a problem with my car that I need to be looking at? And I'm trying to coin a phrase, I'm trying to be with the car.
Yes.
Okay.
Be one with the car.
Yeah, and it sounds corny.
No,
but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to observe what the car is doing and how it's responding to my inputs. I know what my inputs are because my finger tells me. I don't have to see the hand controller. So I know what my inputs are, and I know what I expect the car to be doing. And I can draw that correlation without having to have my controller in front of me. Now, there's been a couple of races recently where I do actually bring my hand up, and I'm trying it just to see if it gives me anything in terms of competitiveness.
You're on a good thing. Stick to it, I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's flick of the wrist. It's like
You actually mentioned that you'd never really realised your style until we brought it up.
Yeah. Well, again, the clip that you've got at the beginning of part 1 shows me with my hand controller down by my side, and I'm flicking. There are times when I'm flicking my wrist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I think that must be when I'm either going into a corner or coming out of a corner. I don't know, because it's subconscious. I don't know I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You guys brought it up and said, is there a reason why you're doing that? And I thought, I can't answer that because I don't know. I didn't know I did it. But your video confirms it. That yes, I seem to.
Not that we want to point it.
Well,
it's
unique.
Yeah.
Well, it is unique, but it's obviously working.
Yeah.
Like it's a body function that's just part of the watching the car go in. It's all part of the.
Yeah, and it works well for Ian.
Obviously.
Well, holding the controller down there, that's a conscious decision. The flick of the wrist is something I do subconsciously, and I've got no explanation
it's like
for
off
it.
The trigger,
Yeah, it's purely reactive to something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. So
I wish I had another camera so I could see that, and then what the car was doing.
What the car was doing at the same time. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This will have to be a couple of parts.
Again, another long one.
This one's nearly 45 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right.
So, once again, we'd like to thank.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Ian for coming up and
redoing part 2 for us.
Well, and adding more things.
Yes, and adding more to
that we didn't ask last time.
No, well, thank you for inviting me. Anything we can do to get the message out there is really appreciated, and you guys are doing a great job with that. You're taking people's enthusiasm. You're connecting people. You're talking to people who are involved in the hobby. So I want to thank you guys as well, because we don't have enough of that. And please don't underestimate what you're doing. You're keeping the channels open. And you're helping people to talk about the hobby that we all love. So thank you.
I suppose we're on the ground, aren't we? We're like the what do we are? You're like the little soldiers.
Yes.
Well,
they go out there and.
Yeah.
Well,
we have fun doing that. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you for that. And I'm hoping that we'll probably be back to the slotted nationals in at the slot shop this year as well.
Yes, we will definitely be there. We've been going to a few shops, trying to share the love, so to speak. Keep them, we've been up to Michael.
Yes, but we'll have to go back there again because we actually did some recording, but it didn't come out too good. So We want to do a similar video to what we did for the slot shop, you know, show everything that and the tracks and all that.
And I want to do the track was at Pendle Hill.
Yes, the tracks that were at Pendle Hill. Yes, we're going to show them.
We did all that, and then it didn't.
And
once
it
again,
didn't
it did
record.
like
Yeah.
So anyway.
So yes, and then we want to go and we went there, but it was school holidays and it was just too many.
The one at Penrith.
The one at Penrith, we want to do that one as well too. Which apparently Dan was the person that sold the slot shop to Eddie and Maria.
Well, there you go.
Oh, okay.
It's a small world.
So he told us.
Right.
Because he bought it off Roland.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He bought it off Roland and then he sold it to
Eddie
and Maria apparently.
Yeah.
So it's small, and then went to Penrith and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Slot car people stay together.
Yes, that's right.
Basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Ian.
Until next we meet, which
won't be long, I'm sure.
Enjoy married life.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes.
And yes, drive home safely.
Yes, have a safe drive.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.